My father was wholesale grocery man. We sold groceries in bulk, wholesale. Uh, Middle class, not the richest, but by no means poor. I had 4 brothers. I was the one before the youngest. I was the fourth child. 3 boys and I, and the 5th was a boy. From 42 to 44, my parents were permitted to stay because my father had a wholesale grocery and they needed him to supply the Germans. So we had permission to stay till 44. Then when the front from Poland, the Germans came into Poland and they were pushing further, they took all the Jews away, permission or no permission. The 3 brothers were separated and they went different places to concentration camp. And I went to Jevinska Nova Ves. But that was the end of communication between the family. That was the last time I have seen them. My youngest brother went with the parents. The 3 brothers were separated because one went with the one that was in the army, in the working camp. He went with his group, and the 2 others were taken to concentration camp. My 3 brothers came back. The youngest one didn't come back, and my parents didn't come back. Up to 38, we didn't have any anti-Semitism. They called it small America because it was beautiful life for Jews and Gentiles. Everybody got along, no problem. And 38, when Hitler started coming in and giving orders, then when anti-Semitism raised its head. The first thing we knew is that somebody came to the class in school. That's when we were separated, and all the Jewish children were taken away. We were forbidden to go to school. We were forbidden to go to the park. We were forbidden to go on the sidewalks. We were forbidden to, Wednesday was market day. We were forbidden to go to the market. We were forbidden to go to the library. We were forbidden to go to the swimming pool. We were forbidden for anything. I have one non-Jewish friend, which was my best friend during the time. And I was like a sibling. I was constantly there, day and night, and vacation and skating and everything. As soon as this happened, that was the end of our relationship. Nobody wanted to be seen with the Jew or have anything to do with the Jew. It wasn't popular. It wasn't the thing to do. We learned to accept it. We learned to roll with the punches. Whatever came, we accepted. I did not look like a Jewish girl. So I went to the market on Wednesday and shopped for whatever there was, groceries. We had to wear yellow stars. I took off my star and I did a little bit, whatever I could, to bring some food into the house and run errands and things like that.
Were you scared?
Yes, very scared, because my parents never knew whether I'll come back.
And you were how old at this time?
About 10, 11. There was one Gentile girl that knew that I was Jewish, and she did not give me away. So, as much as we went through with the Germans, there was one German that could have given me away, and I would have lost my life. My brother didn't go to the army because he was Jewish, but he was like in a working camp. He was in Jevinska Nova Ves. He found me a place with Gentile people that I worked as a domestic there. And he had some people that he knew, and he says, I have a younger sister. She'll pay you if you keep her, and nobody's going to know she's Jewish. I didn't look Jewish, and I paid them monthly. And I was working as a domestic. They had small children, and it was harder domestic than it is now. We washed laundry, and I hung up outside laundry in bitter cold, and my finger froze with the diapers were wet, and I hung up the diapers, and my finger froze with the diapers together because it's very cold in Slovakia wintertime. And I worked very, very hard, but I survived. I bought my freedom, if you can call it that. In fact, I'm still in touch with the family that saved me, and I'm still sending them money to this day. Every year I send them because they saved my life. We write each other twice a year. For Easter and for Christmas, I send them money. And I'm happy to do it since I can. I will do it as long as they live. While I was as a Gentile girl, the Germans came into that little town, the soldiers, and they stayed with that family during the day, and they would get food and they would socialize and all that. I understood German, but I made believe I don't understand German, because if I had given myself away that I understand German, and with my accent, they would have known I'm not a German. So I said, I don't understand German. They were talking about the war. They were talking about the Jews. They were having conversations, all kinds. And I had to act that I don't understand. That was difficult for me. I don't believe in miracles, but there were so many of them in my life during that period that you have to think that I was just a lucky one. The Russian came in. I was liberated by the Russians. We were bombed out and we had to leave that second house. So we went into a cave. People just went into a cave, took whatever they could with them, and because it was bombing, constant bombing, and we went into that cave. And the Russian soldier came, and every time he saw a young girl, he says, you come with me, you come with me, you come with me. And he took me. And he held me under the arm. And once he let go of my arm, I ran. And while I was running the wrong way. It was pitch black. I didn't know the neighborhood. It was a tunnel. He was shooting, but he was shooting this way, and I was running that way. And all of a sudden, I felt like I don't have ground under my feet. So I held on to whatever I was holding on to. That was the ledge. And while he was shooting, I was still and I was holding on. When I heard that it was already quiet, I raised myself somehow back to the ground, and I went like this to see a wall. I got a wall, and I was kept going with the wall until I felt like there was no wall there. So I found the tunnel, and I went back, and I was the only one that came back to that tunnel. All the other girls were raped, and they were left. They took them up on the mountains, and they left them there. In the morning, they found them, some dead and some not dead. And I came back, and when I came back to the tunnel, everybody says, how on earth, you're the only one, how did you ever get back? And I thought this was another point in my life that I survived. I went by myself to Bratislava, and I found some people that knew me, and I slept there one night, and we were sleeping on the floor because nobody had where to sleep. Everybody helped everybody, and I was just on the floor, and I says, I don't want to impose on those people. And next door was a soup kitchen. So I figured, I went to the kitchen, and I says, do you need help? For free. Do you need help? And I was waiting on tables, hoping that if somebody from my family will come back, I will be the one to see them first. And I was working there for nothing, but I got a cot, and I was able to sleep there, and I had food, and I stayed there until one of my brothers did come back. And I took him in, and I found space for him to sleep, and after a while, we tried to go back to our hometown. And finally we got to our hometown, and we were able to get back part of our house. When the Russians came in, we left, and we went to Belgium. And my one brother and I went to Belgium, and we stayed there for about a year until we got the visa to come to the States. Then my younger brother, the oldest brother, came a year later until he was able to get a visa. We had two uncles, one in Austin, Texas, one in Dallas, Texas. And he brought us out. They brought us out. They sent papers for us, and we came here to the States. At the time, at my age and what was going on, I was like a blank. I was just surviving. I did not think in depth what will be. I was just reacting to the situation without thinking. I don't take credit for it. It was just something that happened because it just, without thinking, you did it. It was just a matter of going from day to day and not thinking what's going to be tomorrow. You didn't have any thoughts or or worrying what's going to happen. You're just worried about that day. And that's it. I'm not just because grateful that I survived, but I'm not the only one. There are millions of people that didn't make it. There are 6 million that didn't make it. So I'm not singled out. Sure, I'm not happy about it. I would have liked to have my parents, no doubt about that. But when you don't have the freedom, then when you appreciate what you were given. And that's what I would like everybody to know. Appreciate your good fortune to live in America. Appreciate your good fortune to be here, to be able to work in what you want, when you want, how much you want, and speak what you want. Liberty.